Well, it's 12:26 a.m. where I am, which means it's got to be preview time for tomorrow's games. We've got one matinee game on tomorrow, and we've got the rest on in the evening. So by doing this tonight, I can go to bed a little later, but I don't have to worry about getting up that early. So yeah, it's all about time management with doing this. I've found over the last couple of years and finding the exact right mix of when to do the videos, when to post them, and that's why Saturday nights I stay up later. After the power rankings, I post this. And then Sunday, I usually just do some fun stuff with it. So there you go. And I also want to throw in, because the Entertainment Guy channel is doing so well right now, there's incentive for me to throw up more videos on there as well. And I've got some fun ideas for videos on there. So for people who subscribe to both, you should get videos on both channels tomorrow. All right, that being said, let us get into Buffalo and Boston. Buffalo's 19-9-5. Boston's 17-11-4. How did they get there? Buffalo's 4-3-3 in their last 10. They lost their last game. On the road, they're 8-6-3, and versus the East, they're 9-5-4. Boston's 5-5-0 in their last 10. They lost their last game. At home, they're 11-3, and versus the East, they're 12-7-1. Those numbers seem to favor Boston. And I would not be surprised to see Boston win this one tomorrow, only because I don't know that gravity's completely finished with Buffalo yet. Do I see them as a playoff team? Yes. Do I think the struggles have stopped? Not really. Leading scorer for Buffalo, Jack Eichel, 12 goals, 29 assists for 41 points. Skinner, 22 goals and 11 assists. Reinhart, 8 goals, 21 assists. Ristolainen, 3 goals, 18 assists. Pominville, 9 goals, 9 assists. Dahlin, 3 goals, 14 assists. He's starting to come on. Okposo, 5 goals, 10 assists. Sherry, 6 goals, 7 assists. Middlestad, 5 goals, 5 assists. And McCabe, with 2 goals and 8 assists, gets on the board. Top 10 for Boston. Pasternak, 21 goals, 18 assists. Marchand, 10 goals, 23 assists, or Marchand. Krejci, 5 goals, 22 assists. He's finally passed Bergeron. It's only taken him an extra 10-plus games. Bergeron still at 9 goals, 17 assists. Krug, 2 goals, 15 assists. DeBrusk, 10 goals, 2 assists. Grzelcyk, 1 goal, 8 assists. Heinen, 4 goals and 4 assists. McAvoy with a goal and 6 assists. And Backus on the board with 3 goals, 3 assists. The fact that 6 points gets you on the board for top 10 scorers for Boston, that's part of the problem. Goaltenders. Hutton played today. I expect Ullmark tomorrow. Ullmark 6-1-3 with a 3.03 goals against, 911 save percentage. Hutton's 13-8-2 with a 2.54 goals against, 914 save percentage. I kind of expect Rask in this one. Halak's 9-5-2 with a 2.40 goals against, 926 save percentage. Rask 8-6-2 with a 2.53 goals against, 916 save percentage. So overall, I think it all favors Boston, but like I said, they're 5-5 in their last 10. So it's an inconsistent result with the Boston Bruins in general, and we'll see which side they end up coming out on. And really for Buffalo, I think part of what's been lost in all this is that they're currently 33 games into the season. Eichel has 41 points. Eichel's on pace for about 100 points. So kind of lost in the midst of all of these really solid scoring numbers is that Jack Eichel looks like he could end up scoring 100 points this year. And it's not all on Skinner, because Skinner's now got 8 less points than he does. Skinner's been cooling off the last little while. Still, 33 points is pretty solid, a point a game for Skinner. Carolina would take that back in a heartbeat if he was able to produce like that there. Not that he would. Eichel just has this fantastic ability to pass the puck. And Reinhart's been much better for Buffalo this year than last year, or definitely the year before that. So, there you go. Next up, Edmonton. The Red Hot Oilers, 18-12-3, come in to play the suddenly hot Vancouver Canucks, who are 15-16-4. Remember, they were 11-16-3 not that long ago. So it's getting better. Over their last 10, the Oilers are 8-1-1. They won their last game. On the road, Edmonton is 8-8-2, and versus the West, Edmonton's 12-7-4. So really solid numbers. For Vancouver, they're 5-3-2 in their last 10, but they won their last game. At home, they're 7-7-1 now, and versus the West, they're 8-10-2. So Vancouver, this is a back-to-back for them, and it's going to be a real challenge. This is Connor McDavid and the Oilers coming in, playing the best hockey that any team Connor McDavid's been on has played at the NHL level. Your leading scorer is Connor McDavid, 19 goals, 29 assists. Draisaitl, 16 goals, 26 assists. Nugent Hopkins, 10 goals, 20 assists. Chason, 14 goals and 4 assists for him. Darnell Nurse, 5 goals, 9 assists. He's right behind Clefbaum, who has 3 goals, 12 assists. Of course, Clefbaum's out hurt. Jujar Kara has 2 goals, 9 assists. Kajula, 7 goals, 3 assists. Larson, 1 goal, 9 assists. And Chris Russell, 1 goal, 7 assists to round out the top 10. On the Vancouver side of things, lots of goals being scored. 24 players have now scored a goal for Vancouver this year, which is the most of any team in the league. Pettersson, 16 goals, 18 assists, leads the way. Horvat, 15 goals, 15 assists. Brock Besser, 11 goals, 9 assists. He's now scored 7 in 9 games since coming back from injury. Goldobin, 5 goals, 15 assists. Virtanen, 10 goals, 5 assists. Eriksson, 6 goals, 9 assists. Granlund, 6 goals, 7 assists. Hutton, 4 goals, 9 assists. Roussel with 3 goals, 10 assists. And Stetcher, 1 goal, 10 assists to round out the top 10 for Vancouver. Goaltenders, I expect Koskinen here. Hitchcock doesn't bother rotating out goaltenders. He'll go with the hot hand. Talbot, 7-9-2 with a 3.22 goals against, 894 save percentage. Koskinen is now 11-3-1 with a 2.12 goals against, 930 save percentage. Wow. On the Vancouver side of things, I expect Nilsson because Markstrom played tonight. Markstrom's 12-9-3, 3.06 goals against, 904 save percentage. Nilsson is 3-6-1, 2.91 goals against, 901 save percentage. But maybe Nilsson comes up with a great game against Edmonton. I honestly think they'll end up playing Nilsson. Even though at this stage, I do think Markstrom's the better goaltender. Markstrom's numbers have steadily been growing. So, we'll see where it ends up for him. If Markstrom can be the starter that they had envisioned for him when they signed him to that extension, which could delay Thatcher Demko coming in and starting. Maybe he comes in as a backup next year. Whereas if Markstrom had a really poor season this year, maybe Demko's given a shot at starter right out of the gate. But for Vancouver, stopping Edmonton is going to be a real challenge. The Oilers are playing some fantastic hockey right now. Next up, Calgary. The Flames at 21-10-2 now, one of the best teams in the league. In against St. Louis, who are 12-14-4. The Flames have won 2 in a row. They're 8-1-1 overall over their last 10. On the road, they're 10-7. Versus the West, they're 15-7-1. The St. Louis Blues are 5-4-1 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row. At home, they're 8-8-2. And versus the West, they're 9-11-4. Now, goal scoring and scoring leaders in general. Johnny Gaudreau leads the way for Calgary with 13 goals, 29 assists. Tkachuk, 14 goals, 24 assists. Monahan, 20 goals, 18 assists. Lindholm, 16 goals, 18 assists. Giordano, 5 goals, 28 assists. Backlund, 5 goals, 12 assists. Hanifin, 3 goals, 11 assists. TJ Brody, 3 goals, 10 assists. Jankowski now has 4 goals and 7 assists. Bennett, 5 goals and 5 assists to round out the top 10 for the Flames. On the St. Louis side, O'Reilly, 13 goals, 18 assists. Tarasenko, 9 goals, 11 assists. Perron, 10 goals, 8 assists. Braden Shen, 7 goals, 11 assists. Steen, 6 goals, 6 assists. Dunn, 3 goals, 9 assists. Bozak, 3 goals, 9 assists. Schwartz, 2 goals, 10 assists. Pietrangelo, 4 goals and 7 assists. And Colton Parayko, 7 goals, 3 assists to round out the top 10 for St. Louis. On the Calgary side of things, I expect Gillies here, actually. Riddick played today. He's 10-3-1 with a 2.22 goals against, 925 save percentage. Smith, who's hurt, considered day-to-day, but if he's not good to go tomorrow, I kind of expect Gillies. Smith's 11-7-1, 2.99 goals against, 888 save percentage. But if he's on the shelf, don't you kind of want to see what you've got with Gillies and see if maybe Gillies and Riddick can be the guys going forward? On the St. Louis side, I expect Allen for foreseeable future. Johnson's still on the board because Bennington hasn't played a minute yet. Johnson, of course, technically belongs to Anaheim right now, but he hasn't played for them yet either. He's 2-6 with a 3.55 goals against, 884 save percentage, which is probably why Anaheim hasn't played him. On the St. Louis side, Allen is 10-8-4 with a 3.1 goals against, 901 save percentage. The numbers aren't great, but Allen's been better over the last month than he was before the last month, so it's not as bad as it was. But for Calgary, this is an important game. You don't want to have a letdown after beating Minnesota. And for St. Louis, if they can beat Calgary at home and they can get that third win in a row, who knows? Maybe that upward momentum will finally be there. And again, a lot of it's going to likely depend on Allen. It's going to depend on some of these guys who've underachieved this year stepping up and coming through in a big game. And I can't see anything that would be much bigger right now than the Red Hot Flames coming in and playing them. So, but again, St. Louis has been very, very hard to predict what they're going to do, which is why they've completely blown away all of our predictions for this season so far, and not in a good way. Next up, San Jose, who are 17-11-5. They're in against the 10-18-6 Chicago Blackhawks. And this game, as somebody who's kind of hoping San Jose does well this year, San Jose's road record has been spotty. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and say it's a trap thing and qualify this as a trap game because in their last 10, San Jose's 5-4-1. They've won 3 in a row. On the road, they're 6-8-3 versus the West. They're 10-5-1. Those numbers are so baffling. Mediocre record in their last 10, but they won their last 3. On the road, mediocre record, but versus the West, excellent record. So I don't know. Chicago 1-8-1 over their last 10. They've lost 1 in a row. But you know what? They've had points in their last 2 games. Yeah, I'm trying to find something good here. At home, they're 6-6-4. That's not bad compared to the road record. Versus the West, they're 5-12-4. That record is absolutely abysmal. That's got to get better. So maybe San Jose, maybe this is where that happens. On the San Jose side of things, Meyer is now the number 1 scorer with 18 goals, 14 assists. Timo Meyer's having an excellent season. Couture, 10 goals, 22 assists. Burns, 4 goals, 27 assists. Pavelski, 20 goals and 7 assists. Hertl, 9 goals, 14 assists. Carlson, remember when he was having a hard time getting into the top 8? Not anymore. He now has 2 goals and 19 assists for 21 points. LeBanc, 3 goals, 17 assists. Kane, 9 goals, 9 assists. Donskoy, 5 goals, 9 assists. And Joe Thornton rounds out the top 10 with 5 goals and 8 assists. And it's scary to think of what San Jose could do if there's some consistent production from Carlson. Thornton's kind of reborn, coming out all these injury problems he's had. And if the goaltending can hold up. That's always the thing with San Jose. Can the goaltending hold up? On the Chicago side of things, Kane leads the scoring race with 15 goals and 22 assists. Taves has rejoined it with 16 goals and 14 assists now to DeBrincat. 13 goals, 12 assists. Saad, 9 goals, 11 assists. Keith, 16 assists. Anisimov, 6 goals, 9 assists. Gustafsson, 6 goals, 8 assists. Seabrook, 4 goals, 10 assists. Cahoon, 4 goals, 9 assists. And there's Dylan Strome with 7 goals, 4 assists to make it into the top 10. Interesting here, of course, is Keith, Gustafsson, Seabrook, 3 defensemen in your top 10 scorers for Chicago. Their defense probably a little bit better than than what they're credited as right now. I think it's just that Seabrook and Keith are no longer the players that they were some years back. So that's probably what it is. On the goaltending side, I expect Jones. That would make Dell the backup. Dell's 4-4-2 with a 2.89 goals against, 901 save percentage. Jones is 13-7-3 with a 2.83 goals against, 901 save percentage. Martin Jones above 900. When it's happened this year, it means he's going to have a bad game. I don't know what it is, but that's just been his pattern. On the Chicago side, I expect Crawford. Crawford's 6-14-2, 3.23 goals against, 903 save percentage. Makes Ward the backup. Ward's 4-4-4 with a 4.0 goals against and a save percentage, which sadly isn't 444. That's 885, which is almost double 444. Anyways, so that's how that'll shake down, and I could really see Chicago coming out and winning that one. Just again because San Jose on the road hasn't been fantastic this year, and the way that they've been going is when they can really move up and maybe make that big move to where they don't have to worry about teams behind them. That seems to be when a loss or a losing streak will start up for them. That being said, we're moving along. Tampa. So the Tampa Bay Lightning in Winnipeg. Stanley Cup preview? Huh? Hey, is that a Stanley Cup preview? I don't have a clue. 25-7-1 Tampa Bay. 21-9-2 Winnipeg. And this is a matchup between the teams that were pretty highly rated on my power rankings this week, if you haven't seen it. Over their last 10, Tampa's 9-1. They've won 8 in a row. Over their last 10, Winnipeg is 8-2, and they've won 4 in a row. On the road, Tampa Bay's 10-3-1. At home, Winnipeg is 12-4-2. Versus the West, Tampa's a surprisingly pedestrian 6-5-1. Versus the East, Winnipeg is a more substantial 9-4-1. So those numbers overall, I guess you could give a small edge to Winnipeg based on record against the other conference, but it's a small edge you're going to give Winnipeg in that one. This should be a great game. A lot of goals could be scored in this one, or we could see a great goaltending battle, or both. You can have goals and a goaltending battle at the same time. You can have a game that's 5-4 in overtime, and yet it's still a really good goaltending duel because there's 50 shots each way. Kucherov leads the scoring for Tampa with 13 goals, 34 assists. Point, 21 goals, 20 assists. Stamkos, 15 goals, 18 assists. Miller, 6 goals, 19 assists. Gourde, 10 goals, 14 assists. Johnson, 13 goals, 10 assists. McDonough, 3 goals, 18 assists. Hedman, 4 goals, 14 assists. Killorn, 7 goals, 11 assists. Cirelli, 9 goals, 4 assists. And Joseph also has 9 goals, 4 assists as a rookie. On the Winnipeg side, Wheeler, 5 goals, 38 assists. That's an insane assist number for Wheeler. Just throwing that out there. Scheifele, 20 goals, 23 assists. He's been on fire. Laine, 23 goals and 6 assists. Connor, 13 goals, 15 assists. Bufflin, 3 goals, 21 assists. Ehlers, 10 goals, 11 assists. Little, 6 goals, 13 assists. Morrissey, 4 goals, 15 assists. Trouba, 3 goals, 12 assists. And Matthew Perreault, with his recent hot streak, is now in the top 10 with 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 points. So a lot of guys who can hurt you a lot of ways between Winnipeg and Tampa. Goaltending, it's going to be Vasi. It's got to be Vasi. That'll make Demang the backup. 14-4, 2.95 goals against, 905 save percentage. Vasilevsky, 10-3-1, 2.2 goals against, 933 save percentage. Not bad. On the Winnipeg side of things, I expect Hellebuck. Brossoit would be the backup at 7-1-1 with a 2.35 goals against, 930 save percentage. Hellebuck, 14-8-1, 2.85 goals against, 908 save percentage. And yes, that is likely to be the game of the night. That's likely to be absolutely bonkers, insane, crazy, awesome. And there's been a few of those. Winnipeg and Edmonton was one of those. And I expect Winnipeg and Tampa to be kind of a thrilling one that way as well. I don't see a blowout either way. Those tend to happen, though, when I say it's not going to happen, because the hockey gods really like to just mess with me. That's basically their whole lot in life. All right, next up, Arizona. The Coyotes 14-15-2, desperately clinging to the hope that they can pull back to 500, get above 500, and then maybe get closer to a playoff spot, though the separation is starting to become an issue. They're in against the separated Carolina Hurricanes, who are 13-13-5 and just desperately in need of consistency as well. Over their last 10, Arizona's 5-5-0. They won their last game. On the road, they're now 8-7-1, and versus East, they're 6-8-1. The Carolina Hurricanes are 3-5-2 in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. At home, they're 7-5-4, and versus the West, they're 6-6-2. So, mediocre versus mediocre, and we'll see which team comes out on top. They both have trouble with getting goals. Keller leads the way for Arizona with 8 goals, 15 assists. Schmaltz, 6 goals, 14 assists. Ekman Larson, 3 goals, 14 assists. Stepan, 7 goals, 8 assists. Richardson, 8 goals, 4 assists. Vinny Hinostroza, 4 goals, 8 assists. Goligoski, 2 goals, 10 assists. Grabner, 6 goals, 5 assists. Galchenyuk, 3 goals, 8 assists. And it's Rupanik on the board with 6 goals and 4 assists for the Arizona Coyotes. On the Carolina side of things, Aho leads the way with 11 goals, 22 assists. Teravainen, 6 goals, 18 assists. Williams, 7 goals and 11 assists. Svechnikov, 8 goals, 8 assists. Ferland, 11 goals, 4 assists. Wallmark, 2 goals, 10 assists for him. Martinuk, 8 goals, 3 assists. Stahl, 5 goals, 6 assists. Slavin, 3 goals, 8 assists. And Hamilton rounds up the top 10 with 3 goals and 7 assists for the Carolina Hurricanes. Goaltenders, I kind of expect Hill here. You want to win, and Hill's got the better record. Hill's 5-2 with a 1.81 goals against, 932 save percentage. Kemper's 4-7-2 with a 2.85 goals against, 909 save percentage. On the Carolina side, I expect Mrazek, unless McElhinney gets cleared for this. Darling would be the backup at 2-4-2 with a 3.34 goals against, 884 save percentage. Mrazek's 4-6-2 with a 2.77 goals against, 892 save percentage. And McElhinney is 7-3-1 with a 2.36 goals against, 919 save percentage. A lot of ouch in there. On the upside, if you're a fan of either of these teams, it should be a kind of emotional game. Both of these teams should come out with a lot of determination. There should be quite a bit of determination. You shouldn't see a mediocre performance from either team because they have to win this game. Both of them have to win this game. They've been playing must-wins for a while. This is another one. I would hope that we'll see some emotion and fight, especially from Arizona, who it feels like we're on this nice winning streak and finally had it all figured out, and then they just lost it again. So we'll see if they can pick it up again. And last but not least, the New York Rangers. These guys are hosting the Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow. Vegas 18-14-2. The Rangers are 14-13-4. So for the Rangers, of course, they're battling it out for that number 3 spot in the Metro. Pittsburgh doesn't play tomorrow. The Islanders don't play tomorrow. The Rangers can put some pressure on them with a win. For Vegas, they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They lost their last game. On the road, they're 8-11-1, and versus the East, they're 7-8-1. The New York Rangers are 3-5-2 in their last 10. They lost their last 2. They've been in them. They've been close. I still qualify them as being better than some of the other teams in the league right now. They're just not getting the bounces. At home, they're 10-4-2, and versus the West, they're 6-5-2. So those numbers would state that the Rangers should be in this. It should be close. Vegas is getting better on the road, so some of these numbers may make it look deceptively bad for Vegas. We'll see what happens. Your leading scorers. Carlson's now the leading scorer for Vegas. 13 goals, 13 assists for him. Marchessault, 12 goals, 14 assists. Tuck, 11 goals, 12 assists. Smith, 6 goals, 17 assists. Eakin, 11 goals, 8 assists. Pacioretty, 10 goals, 8 assists. Theodore, 4 goals, 14 assists for him. Miller, 2 goals, 13 assists. Ryan Reeves, 6 goals, 5 assists. Belmar, 4 goals, 4 assists for him to round out the top 10 scorers for the Vegas Golden Knights. On the Rangers side, Zibanejad, 10 goals, 17 assists. Hayes, 8 goals, 15 assists. Kreider, 14 goals, 8 assists. VC, 9 goals, 8 assists. Pionk, 4 goals, 13 assists. Brett Howden, 4 goals, 9 assists. Hedel, 5 goals, 6 assists for him. Fast, Nemesnikov, and Zuccarello all have 3 goals and 8 assists to round out the scoring from 8 through 10 for the New York Rangers. Goaltenders. Now, Vegas definitely has a goaltending problem. And I'm starting to wonder if Gerard Gallant's going to roll the dice and go with Subban tomorrow. Subban's 0-4, 4.02 goals against, 859 save percentage. But Marc-Andre Fleury started, 29 games so far, I think, this year? He's playing too much. He's 18-10-2, 2.57 goals against, 907 save percentage. And Fleury would play every single game if he could. But I think you're better off not playing him in every single game. So we'll see what they do tomorrow and if this is where they throw in Subban. I expect Lundqvist for the Rangers, which would make the backup Georgiev. 4-4, 3.37 goals against, 899 save percentage. Lundqvist, 10-9-4, 2.83 goals against, 914 save percentage. So it's a big game for the Rangers because they want to stay in the running. It's a big game for Vegas because they're in it. They're just looking to move up. And a win tomorrow would bring them to 19-14-2, and they're putting up some really solid numbers right now. I am kind of excited about seeing a couple of their games next week when I go to Vegas. Yvonne and I headed there for Christmas for the week, and we're going to get to see a couple of games. So that should be exciting, and any reporting I do from Vegas should be very, very entertaining for me as well. Whether it's entertaining for you guys or not, that will be up to you to decide. But there you go. There's all 7 games for tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.